It is time now to handle an exception that is not exactly related with HTTP or similar stuff. During this class, we are going to see how to handle an exception related directly with a database when we are trying to remove an instance of a resource that is related with any other resource. For example, when we try to remove a user already related with a transaction or with a product, it means it's a buyer or is a seller. As you may know, these kind of operations cannot be possible because we are doing any violation of the foreign key constraints of the database. So if we go to check that and try to remove a user, let's say the user with ID number 1, we can see how we are obtaining a query exception and with some specific details. The first and important is the code of the violation. This code is important to differentiate between different query exceptions. So let's go to do some code to handle this. Again, in our render method, we just need to add a new condition. Let's import the definition of query exception, and let's to see what the query exception instance have inside. Using the DD helper, we are going to debug and obtain the details about the value of the exception. So if we send this request again, we can see all the details of the query exception. The most important step here is that we have an attribute called error info that is an array, and in the position number 1 has the code that we want to deal with. There exists a lot of codes for query exceptions, but in this case we are going to handle this specific code. Additionally, we have a message, but as you can see, it is integrating data related with our database, so it is not a good idea to include this in the response. So we just need to obtain the code. How we can obtain it? Well, we just need to go to the error info attribute and to the position 1 of that array. The error code is equals to exception in the error info attribute in the position 1. If this code is equal to 4051, we are going to return an error. In other case, we are not going to do anything. The message is going to be cannot remove this resource permanently, and the code is going to be 409. That is the code for conflict. We have a conflict to remove that specific resource because it is related with any other. So basically, if the user or the client want to remove that, need to remove first the other related models or resources and then proceed to remove the original one. In other case, that cannot be possible. So if we try to check again, we can see now this response. We are done now, so see you in the next class.